Hi everyone, welcome to another tutorial. We've had a few users asking us, it's all good and well that we can use the quick swap to swap out a plain white sky or sort of a blown out sky with a lovely blue sky, but can you show us how it's done with a dark sky for twilight, for instance? So what we're going to look at here is just a photo taken straight from the camera. We're going to swap out the sort of the boring sky that was shot with, and we're going to swap that out with a nice twilight sky. All right. Getting started, what we're going to look at straight away is making sure that we're in the sky section. Click on that, and then we'll be clicking on quick swap D meaning dark. After we've done this, we're just going to pick the twilight that we want, and that'll drop that right in the background. And as you can see, it's created a bunch of layers on the right hand side, and it's selected a brush for us. I'm going to change my brush to about 25%, just so that I can paint this in and have a bit more control. So I'm just going to start painting around the house. And you don't need to be too accurate right now, because we'll be able to handle that all a bit later on when we start tweaking the mask. And if you want to, you can actually paint over the house yourself, and that'll actually allow for a bit of reflection in the windows. I'll just do that. Hold on, nice and quick. After that's done, right. Just try that. So as you can see with the glass, you get a reflection of the sky in it, which doesn't look too bad, but I think we'll get rid of that a bit later on. Alright, so the next step is we're going to tweak this mask. So I'm going to head up here to the tweak mask section. Here you can actually move the sliders backwards and forwards to try and get a cleaner edge around the house. But I'm just going to hit OK, use the dodge tool, and I'm going to make sure that when I click the dodge tool, it's set to highlights. Okay, so up here at the top, you've got highlights. And what that's going to allow me to do is to paint the edges in, so that there's no bleeding of the sky onto the ceiling, or onto the roof, I should say. What tends to happen with these, especially if you've got a light colored house or a light colored roof, is the actual sky layer itself will start sort of bleeding into the roof line of the house. And yeah, it doesn't look very professional. As you can see, little black line here, we'll get that later on. Alright, just making my way around the roof line, just painting in all these dark areas with the dodge tool. You don't want to go too hard on the edges here, because the dodge tool will actually make it a very, very, very hard edge, and it will look a little bit fake, should we say. Alright, just get around this edge here. Doing the edges now just makes the selection later on a little bit easier. The dodge tool just makes light work of it by taking out those sort of mid to light tones. Alright, paint that up. Move along, just holding spacebar and clicking to move the document around for those that are still getting used to Photoshop shortcuts. Just paint in this area here till it's nice and white. Nearly done. Don't need to worry about the foliage too much. I can handle that later on. Zoom out, and as you can see, the edge is done. I'll click on brush quickly, and that gives me a nice big hard brush. I'm just going to start squiggling some lines around here, and as you can see, because the edges are already done, all I have to do is sort of just trace around where the edges were, knock that little black line out, and keep on painting. Alright, if you want, you could draw a marquee line, a lasso line around the edge here and fill it with white. That's also an option. Sometimes, depending on my mood, I actually do like to paint things in. Feel like a child again. Okay, just coming down here, making sure this is all pure white. We don't want the sky coming down too far. Make my brush nice and big, and just finish it off. Righto, okay, so that's done. Hit apply, and as you can see, we've got a nice clean sky there over the top of the house. Now, if we want, as you can see, the skies come through the foliage here. If we click on the defringe in layer and change the opacity, we can actually change how that looks. There's also a defringe out layer, which gives you a slightly different effect. So you can sort of move this in and out, or change the opacity, I should say, and it'll make your image look a lot more realistic. Well, there you are, guys. I hope you got something out of this tutorial. We're looking forward to seeing all the fantastic images you guys are going to be doing. Make sure you join our Facebook group and show us what you've done. We love hearing from you, and if you've got any other tips or things that you want to share with the other members in the group, feel free to post away. We always love hearing from you. Okay, until next time. Talk to you later.